Now, technically speaking, what job you are in, the first aspect of dealing with email is to box the time you're doing emails. Unless you're kind of all the time a customer service, and I would recommend that if you're just customer service, you're just customer service. But if you have customer service and emails and correspondence and also other work that you need to do, there needs to be a time where you need to split them. Because the energy it takes to deal with people and deal with their emails and all their stuff, because it's not just the email most of the time you're dealing with, is completely different energy and different approach to when you're working on tasks. And so you need to find some way of actually splitting them away. The worst thing I feel that any person can do is to have them both together. And I find that when I don't create that separation, my life becomes a mess. And in fact, my life was a choo-choo train of going from one thing to the other because of this. Just because I split them and I started allocating time on one and the other, my life really calmed down. The choo-choo train disappeared. So now I get a lot on the aspect, but my work has a lot of emails and all of this. Now, unless they're an emergency, what I find is there are some people that expect that you answer there and then, but most people will take it if it's one day or not, you can. And in fact, I will give you a process how you can actually kind of reply within a day or even less, and then do the work later. I'll get to that. So the first aspect, now consider this, even if you have lots of emails, even if your day is full of emails, let's say 24 hours, it would take 24 hours to answer all your emails a day, which is impossible. That is already a slot. A day has 24 hours. It is a limited box. Now you need probably to sleep, so we cut 8 hours. You're probably working around 8 to 10 hours, so we'll cut it. So it's already a slot. If you can handle emails within a slot, you can handle it with less. And I will give you a system that can actually reduce your time on emails much, much less. And I would probably say that for most people, an hour or 2 hours a day on emails is probably enough for most people. And I'll tell you why. So the idea is, first of all, that you limit the amount of time on the emails. Maybe you set, what I like to do is set an hour every day in the morning. Sometimes when I know there's, let's say I have certain emergencies that might crop up, I might actually have an hour, half an hour. I check it in the middle of the day and I check it later at the end of the day. But the important thing is you're not answering the emails always on the spot. All right, you have a scheduled time, and during that time your work is to answer emails. Now, in dealing with emails, I also have a process that can help me to do this. So the way I do it is I took the idea from a book called Getting Things Done, and it has a lot about how to deal with emails, because I can understand it takes a lot of time. And mainly when an email comes, when you're looking at the emails, one of the things you do, one of the things I do is I say, will I be able to reply to this email within less than 2 minutes? I mean, most of our emails that we receive, we kind of can say yes, thanks, and noted, and have some comments and all of that. So if it is less than 2 minutes and it is within this block that I'm checking for emails, I just reply it. I don't schedule it, you just do it there and then. Don't leave it, because when you leave a small email, it will take a lot of energy to do it some other time. In fact, I would say that if you don't do it immediately so you're in that scheduled time, and if it's less than 2 minutes, if you don't do it there and then, the chances are it's gonna fall and you might not be able to do it, or it stays on your mind and takes a lot of energy. So if it's less than 2 minutes, in that amount of time, I just do it. If it's more than 2 minutes, I just send them an email saying, look, yes, I've received your email, this will take me amount of time, I will be doing it in this day. So what I will be doing is I schedule it as if it's a normal task. All right. So in a sense, when I go through the emails, I'm not replying all the emails. When I'm going through the emails, I'm actually prioritizing my emails. I'm just replying to the people who need just a reply. I am replying to the people who need work from me, and I schedule the work. And I can actually, if I'm really efficient, I can tell them, look, I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'll get back to you. And then tomorrow you do it and you actually reply the email. If you don't, you actually tell them, look, I'm sorry, etc. I will be doing it again tomorrow. This gives a lot, this can be scary because it actually gets you to really do what you say and you say what you do. It is what I call internal integrity. Internal integrity means that when you say something to someone, you don't say it unless you mean it and unless you're really going to do it. This doesn't mean that there aren't emergencies, but emergencies are the exceptions, not the rule. So the idea is first to limit how much time you do on email, and you actually focus the time to do on email on replies only, and then you schedule the work. This said, I also want to give some time when you have jobs that you have lots of emails. If you have an inundation of emails every day, then you have to have a big decision on how much time do I allocate for my emails. So you need to ask, first of all, what is my role at the place of work, what is being expected, and what is the role of emails in my work. Because what I find is kind of email is a reflection of how much communicating with others is going to be. In fact, I remember a time where actually we were working with a person who was really good technically, but then when meeting with the clients, he wasn't that good at all. We actually took away all his communication, and all communication went through us because we were better able to deal with that communication than him. And that helped him to kind of free his email list. We could handle it better, and we worked with that. Now, why am I saying this? Because sometimes email needs a bit of thought. You need to be able to see if you can handle it, if you're the right person to handle the emails. And even if you are, you need to make sure that you know what your responsibilities are. And if 50% is email and 50% is other things, then you allocate 50% on each. If your responsibility is more the doing, then you, let's say, do 80% of the day doing and 20% email. And if you still have 100 emails and you can't reply within that 20% of the time, then you need to find other ways to actually make sure that those emails are replied, or they're actually distributed to other people and they reply them. Because one of the things I see a lot is that management expects people to do all the things that they tell them their employees to do, but what they give to the employees is more than what the employees can handle. So what happens is either the employee stays a long time and tries to do everything and then they quit, or they don't do it. So it's very important. The way we handle our emails actually is very crucial, because most of the time email is that connection between we as service providers and how we're dealing with people. It's most of the time there are a lot of relationship issues that happen at the point of the email. So the way you manage the email most of the time is also the way you're managing your clients. And so it needs to be really seen both from management and from the employee how you're actually dealing with emails. So at least the basic, if you want to start dealing with emails, limit your time, reply to people during that time, and then anything more than 2 minutes, you schedule on your calendar.